I spent most of my career in international relations, looking particularly at Britain's place in the world. This has never been more important, with so much turbulence and uncertainty across all continents. I see my task through my books, my journalism, speeches and seminars to help corporate leaders and analysts navigate a better understanding of what's going on. So let me divide my thoughts briefly into three broad topics. First, Britain and the world. The rise of China has been talked about for the past 20 years. Now it's truly happening. Unlike the Cold War, this time the West has a strategic adversary that is also its match, maybe more than its match economically. Through Belt and Road and other initiatives, China is making many regions and nations dependent on it. Meanwhile, the credibility of the United States has been severely damaged by the Trump administration, and with it the credibility of the entire Western democratic order. With COVID demonstrating many countries' capacity and organizational weaknesses, China is showing a newfound confidence. How do countries and companies deal with that? How do they develop resilience from internet to physical infrastructure to healthcare, while at the same time working with China? Then comes Britain and Europe. The UK has opted not just for Brexit, but for possibly its harshest variant, severing as many institutional ties as it can. The economic dislocation will, because of COVID, be virtually impossible to measure now. What matters from this point on is helping to find a new accommodation for a continent with whom Britain does nearly half of all its trade, both in goods and services. After coronavirus and the 2008 financial crash, Europe is itself struggling to find a coherent economic model and unified voice. It faces dangers from populist regimes within its heart, such as Poland and Hungary, with many voters seemingly seduced by the blandishments of China and Russia. The departure of Angela Merkel will deprive Europe of its most enduring leader, her position reinforced by her handling of the pandemic. While the UK seeks trade deals with the United States and with Commonwealth nations, the key challenge for the British government is to rebuild ties with its nearest neighbours. I will explain what needs to be done and how. Now, Germany, a focus on one underappreciated and little understood country. When I started work on my latest book a couple of years ago, my German interlocutors either laughed or shrieked when I told them the title, Why the Germans Do It Better. At the time, the idea seemed risque. Now, because of the pandemic, the question's on everyone's lips, seemingly. I look at all areas of German life, an economic model based on medium-sized companies in the regions, a focus on R&D and long-term planning, an accent on training and apprenticeships, science and engineering, stronger public services, and a consensus-oriented political system. For sure, Germany faces many problems. The rise of the far right, tension over migration, and a slowness to innovate and to invest in tech, to name but a few. Most of all, it still feels unable to take its rights on the world stage as the most influential member of the third most powerful bloc in the world, the EU. I've lived 3 times in Germany, I know the country well, and I enjoy talking through its strengths and weaknesses and what we can learn from it.